going on, my people? Sand City Sports is in the building. You know what time it is. I'm glad that we're across a number of different platforms. I got to tell you a little bit about what happened, a little bit of a snafu the last time. It's not going to happen this time. There was a snafu the last time. That's not going to happen this time as we work out these little technical difficulties. Again, Sand City Sports coming back at you. Holiday episode, December 23rd, on the verge of Christmas Eve. And we're going to keep it moving and grooving, making it do what it is that we do, okay? So we're going to learn from what has happened, transpired previously. The Facebook is live and in full effect. The Instagram, which was a recent ad, is live and in full effect. Yes, indeed. YouTube is rocking with me. YouTube is rocking with me. What's going on? What's going on? Hey. Yes, indeed. Twitter is rocking with me, and Twitch is on point. All right, people. So we back right now. You can tell a little bit of the cold season has gotten to me, but I'm gonna press on through. Came at you with an episode recently, 3, 4, 5 days ago, and I got to tell you, as I'm learning the technology, I'm seeing on my Riverside stream. Shout out to Riverside. That's a great platform for me and for Sand City Sports. The last episode made a mistake. I didn't turn every page, folks. Okay, that's Bob Carroll. Check out the Power Broker. Okay, The Years of Lyndon Johnson. Pulitzer Prize winning author, great biographies, but particularly the Power Broker, which I'll reference because we're going to talk about my New York Knicks. Power Broker looks at the life of a one Mr. Robert Moses, the man who in many ways shaped modern day New York. And what Bob Carroll says in terms of the research that he did, and it took 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get the project done. And I hope those that are maybe tuning in will check out the Power. Even if you're not a huge biography fan and not a huge documentary fan, it's just kind of how the book came about. But one of the things he said he learned on that project was turn every page. You got to turn every page. You never know. In the last episode that we came at you with, I believe it was 3 days ago, the 20th, I did not check my Facebook and I didn't check my IG. And so those did not go live. Almost drove me crazy. Things that, you go in and you do this, that, and the third, and you want to have a good show and as good as possible. And then you just mess up, with the technical difficulties. It's bananas. So what I gather, you got to turn every page. You got to check. You got to double check. You know what I mean? And so across the board, we are good. I hope everybody out there is good during the holiday season. We talked about it last episode, the trifecta, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas, the New Year's. Yeah, the holidays, it's the most wonderful time. And then it's not the most wonderful time, right? It is a good time. You work in education like I do. You get some time off. So I'm glad to have a little bit of time off to get the rest and relaxation and recovery and set aside, make time for family and friends and events, things of that nature. But you also have to be mindful that, everybody is going through what they go through during this time of the year. Particularly as I get a little bit older, certainly have perspective. Remember that I had a number of good holiday seasons, which kind of lights the path as I get in the middle age, for sure. Number of good holiday seasons. Those memories, those wonder years. It's amazing and how it just, as you're going through, you go through in life, you reflect back on those times, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yes, as it is the eve of Christmas Eve, just put that out there to start the show. Happy holidays, and take care of yourself, and give yourself time, and give yourself grace, and one day, one step, you know what I mean? we sometimes lose track in the madness. And there's certainly been, you try to go to the mall or do this and that and the third, and people are getting out there, which is good. We need the consumerism for the economy, but we don't need, ad infinitum consumerism to tear away at your spirit, your soul, who you are. So let's push back on that. You know what I mean, and have the good peace of mind. All right, folks. Sand City Sports. We're gonna obviously get into a number of things. We're gonna start in the NFL with just how the Green Bay Packers manhandled the Saints. You saw it. I saw it. 34 zilch. Beat them down on the frozen tundra. And what's coming to my mind is I know the people in Green Bay, they about that life. They mean business. Shout out to an organization that is like a mom and pop organization, the Green Bay Packers. Like the people of Green Bay literally run an NFL franchise. Right? That's crazy to think about it. But then the further point that I'm getting at is where are the Green Bay Panthers? And I got to take, you know what I mean, versus I'm not going to say no, some other franchises that have multi-billion-dollar owners, that have some of the richest owners in the NFL and in sports in general. Where is this mom and pop shop versus Daddy Warbucks? Yeah. The Green Bay Packers, slow and steady, wins the race. The tortoise and the hare, i.e. the tortoise. That's the Green Bay Packers. All right. And they're running circles around the NFL, circles around a lot of other franchises. And yeah, it's what has Tom Brady said? Thomas Edward Patrick Brady III, shout out to Skip Bayless. What does Tom Brady, say? He says, well done is better than well said. Well done is better than well said. I kept the receipts. I heard what you said coming out your mouth. Okay. And then I gave you 7 Super Bowls. And what? I don't have to talk that talk. I'm vicariously. But if I'm Tom Brady, I don't have to talk no talk. Okay? My reputation precedes me. You put respect on my name as a given when he steps, into the room. Well done is better than well said. That's the Green Bay Packers right now. People couldn't wait to slander Jordan Love. There was a lot of slander. That's not even a word, but there's a lot of slander on Jordan Love last year to begin the season. We've forgotten that based on what happened at AT&T Stadium, how he, put the Cowboys on blast. People had a lot to say about Matt LaFleur. And that's not even really where I'm going with this. My man, Mr. Gutekunst. I'm not mispronouncing it. Brett, I might have mispronounced the man's first and the last name. Gutekunst. I just know because he was mixed up in this situation, a couple years back with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was getting ready to rage quit from Green Bay. He's getting ready to rage quit right now from New York. This is who he is, what he does. Contrarian without a cause. A couple years back, Aaron Rodgers was in a new drama. He's always in some sort of drama, but he was in a drama with the Green Bay Packers, and Mr. Gutekunst wasn't budging, and they was going back and forth. And I remember Gutekunst coming to the press conference in all black, like he was auditioning for Men in Black or going to a memorial service. Came into the press conference like I'm not having this. And at the time, I was like, man, you standing up for Aaron Rodgers, quarterback's most important position. You might have to get up out of there. Where is that conversation now? For me and for everybody else. Okay, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. These Green Bay Packers, who are in the mix now. I'm Team Lion. No, that's tough. Because that's tough. Let me back up on that. I gotta be Team Eagles. Being born in the great state of New Jersey. Okay. Having family in the city to brotherly love. Okay, I gotta be Team Eagles first and foremost. So that okay. And the Eagles are handling business, even though they had a tough loss. In terms of what your boy Jaden Daniels is doing right now. You talking about rookie quarterbacks? Talking about kept receipts? Talking about a possible Kevin Durant, Greg Oden situation? Did I say what I just said? Talk about a possible Kevin Durant, Greg Oden situation. I said what I said. In terms of what Jaden Daniels is doing based on what's going on in Chicago, I said what I said. Now, you got Dan Quinn over there. That whoa, Dan Quinn, whoa. Okay, he ain't forgot about what happened when he was in Atlanta. People in Dallas are missing Mr. Quinn, but the way that he has the Commanders playing, went into, you know what I mean, got that big win in Philly. But yeah, what, you know what I mean? When it comes to the AFC, are we talking? We're gonna get back to the Packers, but I always have to be first and foremost Eagles. Always must be first and foremost Eagles. City of brotherly love, city of the Rock, Mr. Balboa. Okay, we're gonna talk about Rocky in a little bit. Okay, we're gonna talk about, because I got things that I got. We're gonna talk about the Rock. Okay, you don't like the role they giving you? Write your own role. We're gonna talk about the Rock. Classic to this day. Who put that project together? Okay, who was living on K rations? Mr. Sylvester Stallone. We're gonna get into this. This is another point that I'm gonna be bringing into the, you know what I mean? You don't like the role that your company has for you, your friends have for you, your family has for you, the boxes people put you in. Okay, you got to write your own role. Bottom line, how does my man Tyler Perry say it? You stop fighting for a place at somebody else's table. You know what you got to do, folks. You got to build your own table. That's what you got to do. What does this have to do with the city of brotherly love? What does this have to do with my Eagles? Okay, we're going. Who wrote and held on to Rocky? Had to sell his dog and buy his dog back. Willis is out there behaving himself. Willis is in the building. He's behaving himself. Right now, you might hear from Willis, but he's behaving. That's my dog. Willis is behaving himself. You know, he got a couple snackaroos, and we had to go to the store and get him what he needed to do. Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky. Went through the hard times. Would not give up. I'm starring in this movie. I'm not selling it for no price. And the rest is history. The rest is history. You know what I mean? So we're gonna touch on it. We're gonna come back. I got a couple things. But what is this? Back to the Packers who beat the brakes off of the doggone Saints. And it's not. I'm not even really talking about the game itself. I'm just saying to myself, right? In this world, and we're gonna. How do we get to talking about this? Let me. Multiple points, but so right. Eagles are my team in the NFC based on the history. I love Dan Campbell. That's kind of like over. Dan Campbell is that dude. I just, I'm a fan of that man's and the Detroit Lions and what is going on. And I'm pulling for the Lions. You know, I'm pulling for the Bills. I'm pulling for teams that have just, let's spread the wealth, man. Let's these teams that have just always been a bridesmaid, never a bride. You want to see them shine. But dog on it, the Lions, they just keep, it's crazy how they keep staying in the mix. Hutchinson out, Montgomery out. This guy, they just so many losses and injuries. I don't know if they can do it this year, even though they have certainly, after they should have beat San Fran last year, and this has been a revenge tour all year, and they're not even healthy, which hurts my heart to see them to get through. And the Bills, I have that sentiment for the Bills. By the way, when we talk about the Bills, shout out to David Goggins. You Can't Hurt Me. I'm listening to it on Audible. That book begins David Goggins grew up early on in Buffalo. You Can't Hurt Me. Okay. Check that out. If you don't know who David Goggins is, check him out. Stay hard. Your boy done become a little bit. That's me. I don't talk about. I'm talking about myself. I done become a little bit soft and fluffy. Honestly, I done become a little bit soft and fluffy. Your boy got to do a little bit better. You know what I mean? If we're gonna speak facts. But David Goggins doesn't have none of that. He says, "Stay hard. Stay hard." Okay. So we doing what we doing. I'm glad the live streams is going on. Check in, check out, join in, join out. It is what it is. This is the holiday episode of Sand City Sports coming at you. And we're just getting into the mix, talking about the NFL, Green Bay Packers, knocking people out. A team I just, and I can't root for them in the NFC because I just told you I have my Eagles and I have my Detroit Lions. Those are you know what I mean? But in terms of not they're dangerous, they're right there. Who would have thought the NFC North would be that division? Vikings, the Sam Darnold reclamation project. We talked about the Lions, the walking wounded that still go and continue to go, and the Packers who, you know, coming from the basketball tradition, I can't get too deep, super deep into football, but my understanding is the Packers got some talent. They got some talent. Folks that you might not, I might not have the name brand recognition now, but they're talented. And they're obviously well coached with Matt LaFleur. And they obviously have an incredible organization with Gutekunst. And this, right? Yeah, for real. So I like to see them make noise, but that's not why we're talking Packers as this in terms of getting into the NFL, right? The Packers, and there's a couple other teams. I want to talk a little bit about the Steelers, right, and being committed, right, to principles and process, and not going with this, everything right now, how we are in life, specifically how we are in sports, beholden to our superstars. We done talked a little bit about how Aaron Rodgers tried to hold the Green Bay Packers hostage a couple years back. How's that working out? Now, he did come back after his first, I'm not coming back to Green Bay, yada, 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 and was in the MVP conversation. I don't know if that's the year that I don't know if that was the year, Tom Brady's first year in Tampa Bay, where Aaron Rodgers could have ran for a touchdown and wanted to be cute and then ended up losing another game to Tom Brady at home. We talk about the all-time conversation and why Tom Brady is who Tom Brady is and why Aaron Rodgers, it continues to be a contrarian without a cause. Let Tom Brady come up into his domicile and take that W, take his Super Bowl opportunity. A couple years back, all right, and then finally Green Bay said you can get the stepping. Take your MVPs and you can get the stepping. And how's that worked out? Where are the Jets and where's Green Bay? Right? We always roll the dice and throw caution to the wind, right? And what's taken over the youth sports and the college sports is NIL. I got to get my money, all my money right now. And it's just gone berserk. It done gone buck wild out of control. And I'm glad players are getting their money. What's really ripe for research, now that I think about this, and exploration, is what the heck these college kids are doing with all this money. Nobody's really talking about that. Sand City Sports is talking about it right now, going into the holidays. But we need, and I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a sports fanatic, right? Basketball referee. I'm a jack of all trades, allegedly. Don't quote me on that. But we need, that's a storyline that needs, particularly we're in the college football playoffs right now. We're in the college football playoffs, which is beautiful. I would have liked to see, some teams went on that home field advantage. We're learning with this new format, home field advantage, a must. If we would have played that game in the Smoky Mountains, or if the Tennessee and Ohio State had been in Tennessee, I think that was an 8-9 matchup, if I'm not mistaken, right? It might not have been so lopsided. But we know that home field advantage is a must, because these home teams are knocking folk out. Going into the what are we, down to 8 now? Yeah, we're down to 8. Right? Because the first 4 didn't play. So no, we're down to 4. No, we're 8 teams, 4 yeah, 8 teams. First 4 got to play, you know what I mean? And we got some matchups going on. But we shout out to the home field advantage. And we'll see how it continues to proceed. Now we got strength, you know what I mean? some of the, it's tough. Indiana at Notre Dame, that's basically a home game. Keeping it in Indy. But what does this have to do with the Green Bay Packers? I'm talking NIL, folks. Yes. Do they deserve the money? Yes. Are they worth every single penny? Every single dime that they're getting. Like, it's crazy. Sometimes you think like, oh, I am doing this for free because it's my passion project, right? But you have this isn't a job, it's a hobby. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have something that you're doing for money, but like your occupation, whatever, accountant, doctor, electrician, but you like doing it, and then you say, I would do this for nothing, just like whimsically, like you're happy to have like a job and a place, but you've never, you know what I mean? It's amazing. An accountant or an agent or a lawyer, don't ever say that. And then when we say that, what we're intimating, when we say I do this for nothing, again, what you mean is I'm happy and I'm mindful and I'm appreciative. But in terms of economics and business, not that I'm Adam Smith or anything, but you're minimizing your labor power. Just because you like doing something does not negate the surplus value that you bring to that entity. And your enjoyment of what you're doing is a reason that you're bringing surplus value, added value to that endeavor. That enthusiasm that you have, I like this, I appreciate, I'm having a positive outlook and mindset that accelerates your proficiency in that role. You know what I mean? But you never say, diminish ever. Even if, you're one of these people that's just printing out money, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, you get every single last penny and dime that you are owed and deserve based on, again, the value that you bring to the entity. And then what you can do if you're of that generous mindset is you can go into philanthropy and spread that wealth around to the, you know what I mean? That's how but you don't diminish your labor power. You don't diminish your value because, as a wise man once told me, you ask for anything, they're going to give you anything. You ask for anything, they're going to give you anything. All right? Everybody's not going to want to build you up. But what do the Green Bay Packers have to do with this? Folks, okay? We need to start talking about what these college players are doing with their money because we know what the numbers are for the pros. About 70% plus NBA and NFL broke. Financial distress 5 years out of retirement. A majority. Okay? A preponderance of our professional athletes, millionaires, are in financial distress 5 years after retirement. NBA, guaranteed contracts, all this load management foolishness, all of this pity-pat, angry, you know what I mean? NBA players, NBA players, it's just ridiculous how sensitive the NBA is. You know what I mean? You give an inch, they take a mile. Sensitive folks are. It's crazy. Crazy, right? Like fouls are now considered to be hard fouls in the NBA. And players get up and all this consternation. And what are you actually going to do? Oh, NBA player, sit your behind on the bench and not coming up to work? Put your thumb in your mouth and I'm not working, I'm not showing up? Because that's what it come down to. That's like the actuality for all the pouting that we see in the NBA. I'm just going to not do my job that I'm paid to do. And somehow it's acceptable. Right? But what I'm getting with it, the game is, the physicality has been so far reduced, that, the pillow fight of contact that players currently have to go through. And there's all these complaining, whereas you should be, more of you, like my main man, Mikal Bridges, and just show up to work every single day and be positive and happy. Because you're getting hit with pillowcases and, you know what I mean? Are you kidding me? The 80s NBA were, what? Elbows, forearm, fist fight, clothesline. What? Never mind, and not even, you know what I mean? And all this talk about the 80s and modern basketball is better than what it was. Heck out of here with that nonsense. Oh, because they can watch film and analytics. Heck out of there with that nonsense. Noon sense. We got a lot of sensitive folks out here. A lot of prissy nonsense going on. That's what we have. And just a generalized lack of toughness, period, end of story. You see these guys sit on the bench By the way, it's like they sit on clouds. They got 18 different, you know what I mean? I got, hold on. Hold on, you know what I mean? Shout out to your man LeBron. You know what I mean? I got my little lower lumbar support here. I got my lower lumbar support. I mean, I got some support here that I get down with. Hold on, I ain't done yet. Oh, snap. I might have ripped this. Did I rip it? Hold on this. These are incredible, especially when you're traveling. These are incredible for travel purposes and then just, you know what I mean? Back purposes. Fix my shirt. You know what I mean? You ever see folks, the NBA players? And they got to get my setup back right now. Back support. Hold on. Mess up my goatee. You do one thing. All right. Good. Get my shot back, right? I'm on. I haven't forgot where I am on this rant. NBA, soft and sensitive. Meanwhile, the game, you know what I mean, is so much more amenable for longer careers than what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Right? So that's, that's what players now with the All-Star game and just stop all this prima donna baloney is. It's ridiculous. We are getting back to the Packers. I am making my way back there, folks. Okay. It was Green Bay, mom and pop. Well done is better than well said. We have a way of doing things, tried and true. We're sticking to this. We're not going with the new hotness. We're not going with the throw everything together and mix it up and we can win a championship, i.e. the New York Jets, who are a dumpster fire. Gambled, brought in Aaron Rodgers, gave him the keys to the kingdom. Where are they now? Put pieces around him. Devontae, you got Sauce Gardner on defense. Where are they now? Fired a good man in Robert Saleh because he actually tried to coach and do his job. Where are they now? Brooklyn Nets, that foolishness. We don't need a coach. They got rid of Kenny Atkinson. How is he doing in Cleveland? I'm angry with myself. Life gets busy. I shouldn't be angry because life is busy. That's life. But I was on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I was on them. Why? Because Kenny Atkinson knows his business. And Bernie Bickerstaff knows his business, which is why Detroit's playing much better. Now, I'm so upset that I wasn't bullish on that. Because that's how I felt then, now, so on and forth. How did the people in Brooklyn feel? Got rid of an elite coach for some superstar nonsense. How did we see? We're talking about receipts today, folks. We're talking about receipts. We got 30 seconds before Christmas Eve. Hey, even though it's I hope people are doing good for the holidays. Happy holidays, folks. You know what I mean? I imagine people are up late. You know what I mean? Kids are gonna be up late tomorrow, for sure. Imagine some of the adults are up late, tired, packing or printing, doing what we're doing. So yeah. CN City Sports is at you. And I know there's a couple other late night stats that, you know what I mean? In the late night. And the late nights is pretty good now. I don't got to. Tomorrow's not a work day, not a school day. I got things to get organized, but still, we also have a little bit of time to chop it up and make it do what it do. I go on these different tangents, right? I have to come back and get. So we're talking about NBA sensitivity. And that was, yes, right? I don't need a coach. The Jets didn't need a good coach in Robert Saleh. The Nets didn't need a good coach in Kenny Atkinson, right? Right? Yeah, it's crickets right now. It's crickets. And Brooklyn is doing pretty good. Shout out to Brooklyn. They're doing all right. Shout out to, we got a person tuning in. Respect on the YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. Holla at your boy. Let me know what's going on. Can I see the No, 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 no. Shout out to the person tuning in. And real quick, boop, 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 boop. Just make sure that I can get my messages. If anybody comments and says what they need to say, let me just go over here and check it on out. Okay, no. I think it would, yes, indeed. Any chat would go from 1 to 2 to 3. Is it in the settings that, no. But it says chat. So I should just click the button that says chat. The tech savvy, shout out to the people that's tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, do what you need to do. I can see the chats, so on and forth. I was going in on the NBA players and some of the foolishness, but then we were talking organizationally, right? The Packers held serve. We're going to come back all the way to the Packers. The Jets went for broke and are broke. The Nets, with the 3 stars, went for broke and went broke, even though they're playing better this year. And yeah. Kenny Atkinson has people on notice. The Cavs have had talent. They've been talented. Mobley, Allen, Garland, Mitchell, Levert, others, workers. Nobody remembers that Darius Garland said he would not return if they brought back Donovan Mitchell. Nobody remembers that right now. We just are hold on. What are they? What are they want to do? We just know the Cavs have played 30 games and lost 4. That's what we know. Okay, we don't even remember what was going on, the drama that was going on. You know what I mean? We don't remember none of that drama. Okay, that's Kenny Atkinson. Solid with Brooklyn. Also, when I say Kenny Atkinson, coming from the Cape, Barnstable. Okay, coming from Barnstable High School, right? I have to remember Sean Fine, who was the G League coach for the Long Island Nets under Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson took his talents to the Clippers. Sean Fine went with him in the player development department. Then, as happens, the Clippers stole Jerry West from Golden State. Golden State stole Kenny Atkinson from the Clippers. That's how it goes. Won him a championship with Golden State. Pretty sure he's on that staff. I get, was it Kenny Atkinson, or it might have been Kenny Atkinson and Mike Brown was on that staff. Just incredible, crazy amount of brain power that was on. But all right. So Kenny Atkinson, Sean Fine stayed. Sean Fine's now director of player development for the Los Angeles Clippers, Barnstable High School graduate. Yes, indeed. Kenny Atkinson with the Golden State for a number of years. Hornets offered him a job. Golden State made him a Godfather offer. He came back. Finally, he decided to go ahead to go to Cleveland to get his, you know what I mean? And where's it at? And where's it at? Right? We're talking about institutional strength here, folks. That's my takeaway with Green Bay. Not going with the new fad, the new hotness, and just being forgotten about. Green Bay was forgotten about all last year until they beat the stuffing, breaks, whatever you want to call it, off the Dallas Cowboys. Embarrassed them in AT&T Stadium. Completely changed the narrative. All right, but they was moving in silence before then. Second-tier back burner franchise. Well, we see tonight they're neither. And it's just, you know what I mean? For me, again, when I see these examples, it's wow. Okay, everything is NIL. Everything is get yours. Everything is entitlement. And yes, players do need to look out for themselves, right? Particularly in the not for long league, the NFL. That's 100%. Right? But at a certain point, like there needs to be a greater good. There needs to be a cause that people can rally around and embrace. All right, and that's what the Green Bay Packers symbolize, as far as I am concerned. You can say the same thing for the Steelers in the AFC, right? Steelers in the AFC, who were going nowhere. If you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks, right? Now they began the season, folks didn't want either, and now they're atop the AFC North. Even after losing two games, they're still atop the AFC North. Talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Excuse me. And the standard is the standard. And they, well-built team. I can't name three players. I named two. Shields and Wilson. I can't name a third. Watt, okay? Y'all know the rest of those players. Okay, but I know many people, myself first and foremost amongst them, did not have great expectations for the Steelers this year. And I stand corrected. Okay, and so, yes, NFL writ large. Let's take a look, because it's in a book, A Reading Rainbow. Shout out. PBS, best television on television, kids or adults. It'd be preposterous to do anything that does not appreciate and accelerate the great benefit and resource that is PBS, Public Broadcast Television, the public broadcast station, right? So yeah, 49ers are not making the playoffs. That's wild. 49ers not making the playoffs. Rams and Seahawks, just mom and pop shops to a certain, just continuity over years. Particularly with the Rams, Seahawks, the changing of the guard. Tampa Bay and the Falcons battling it out. I have high hopes for Penix. He's right that, general manager made the right decision. Okay, and so he's the quarterback of the future, and the future is now. It's just insane that there's two teams in the NFC North that are 13-2, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, wow. So you got three teams from the NFC North that are going to be, it's just wow. So the Eagles, the three teams in the NFC North. The Rams, that's 5. Guess the Commanders are 6. And then we'll see about Seattle and see about the Seattles of the world and the Buccaneers of the world and those other teams. But tremendous parity, tremendous competition across the board. NFL any given Sunday. But specifically, man, the NFC, which I did not, I believe, I still, the AFC is the superior conference. But the NFC is, it's a barnyard brawl. So it's an absolute battle. All right, and coming over to the AFC, Buffalo making it do what it do. Chiefs making it do what it do. And then beyond those two teams is just the pack is huge. All right. Chiefs and the Bills were on a crash course. All right, Kansas City not giving up that home field advantage for nothing. And then, wow, Steelers and Ravens, closer than I think they should be, but they're neck and neck. Houston's really, in a weak division, but Houston's, it's not plural. Texans got a bad, with Diggs going down. That was just a bad hit. Collins being out, he's coming back, but it is just difficult. It's just out, night and day difficult for the Texans. But they're still right there in the mix. Excuse me. Folks, we're not tired. We're not retiring. We refiring. Let's take another gander. And then teams like the Chargers and the Broncos, we'd like to see both of those teams. And they're right there, 9-6. Okay, 10-6. So the AFC, which to begin the year looked like by far the stronger conference, right now I'm not as sold on that take. I think the NFC and AFC are more balanced than previously stipulated. And there's not one clear predominant power in either. And the Chiefs, with their 14-1 record, it's like you feel like 10 of those wins were in comebacks in the fourth quarter. So if a team would play a complete game against the Chiefs, they're ready to be knocked out. All right, but that has not been the case as of yet. So shout out to the Packers. Shout out to trusting the process. Shout out to not rushing to get old. And that's what I'll just keep coming back to. That's what the Packers represent to me. That's what others that I see, taking the long view. Arch Manning for the Texas Longhorns, taking the long view. Arch Manning, who will be the number 1 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Book it. Arch Manning. After he lights college football up next season. And he's coming up off the bench for Texas. Behind Ewers. No complaining. Team first. I don't know. Now that I think about this, is Arch Manning going to be a 4-year college player? He's going to go back for his 4th year, i.e. Peyton Manning, i.e. Andrew Luck. That now that I think about it, might be in the cards in terms of why Arch had no problem sitting out 2 years of his college journey when he's the prohibitive number 1 pick. People have forgotten, that right now Shador and Travis Hunter are all the rage, and rightfully so. There's some foolishness going on in terms of Travis Hunter's personal life, which is nonsensical. Interesting storyline, with Travis Hunter and the girlfriend, and she was at a club like a decade ago, and that's a scandal. Are we kidding? Is this for real? All right, are we for real? Different people do different things and can conduct themselves in different, you know what I mean? The late, great Kobe Bryant, the Mamba mentality, right? In terms of relationships and and I think, speaking of the Mamba, always, and Gianna. It's a great game recently in women's college hoops between USC and Juju on that beat. And UConn and Paige Beckers. A battle. USC came out on top. Women's game is thriving and flourishing. Number of capacities. Right? But when we remember the Mamba, we also remember Gianna. Remember that, Kobe was, a girl dad and was at all those. It was just, somebody that loves sports and follows all the sports. And those UConn championship games, lost 2 years on buzzer beaters. Insane. Mamba in the building for those games. What does this have to do with the NFL? What does this have to do with Travis Hunter? Folks, Kobe Bryant did not have a prenup. Do we, you know what I mean? And we know now, in the scope of time, the family dynamic and relationships were what they were. And I'm not talking out of school, but that was the case. And but that was Kobe's decision. And he had a great career and millions and hundreds and millions of dollars. And it worked for him, how he wanted to do it. So Travis, that's how I feel about Travis Hunter right now. There's all this. He's a good kid. He's a day one person. Travis Hunter sticks with his day ones. Not only does he just have good energy, right? Remember when he got the cheap shot? The guy cheap shotted him when people were it was a tough hit, you know what I mean? But kind of a cheap shot, and people were up in arms. And what did he do? He went out and invited a man on his podcast and said, we ain't doing this. We stay in positive vibes only. That's what he did. Again, a part of why, right? You're happy to see people like that be successful. You're happy. But then you can see in their happiness why they're successful. Bringing that enthusiasm, that joy. We do know, and we're going to talk a little bit, but we do know what depression represents. Right, folks? Talk about I'm depressed, and it's a real thing. We know what it represents. Depression is rage turned inward. Shout out to the Sopranos. The depression is rage. Depression is rage turned inward. Shout out to Dr. Melfi and the Sopranos. How does Travis Hunter comport himself? With joy, with enthusiasm, as well as being 5-star and unicorn, like, being a unicorn athletically. But he's positive and he's encouraging, he's uplifting. My shirt right. You know what I mean? My shirt over here. You gotta get it right. So all of this stuff, and social media being deactivated and, people nosing and, what I mean? He's happy. They're happy. And like Travis Hunter, and there's other ways of doing this as well, folks. Sometimes you don't need a prenup. Sometimes you do need a prenup. Sometimes you need to put all your money in your family's name. If we keep it at 100. Right? It's all good now. The relationship is lovely and beautiful and flowing right now, but down the road, you don't know and you want to be founded on a strong foundation and tied together with the correct foundation with each other, with your spirituality, with your connection to God. And yes. But you don't know. But again, for me, I'm saying that's his decision. You, me, anybody, the more you come at people that are in relationships with wildness, the more you just reinforce what they were going to do anyway. And so I just think Travis Hunter, I just see different, I saw a soccer player, that was going through some relationship issues and wanted to divorce and go to court, and do all this, that, and third. He said, I don't have any money with the soccer players. I have very little money. He had like thousands of dollars, like $4,000 in savings when they came and, wanted to do all the this and that and the third. So I don't have much money. And people like, the woman was like, of course you do. You got millions of dollars. And he says, that's not me. That money is, my family has that money. I don't have that money. My family has it. So in his situation, you know what I mean? He gave the money to family, so he didn't have it. And, so that was that proceeding. And so it's just different. Different people do different things. And so anyway, back to Travis Hunter, who could be a New England Patriot. Just the same way that I'm, Team Campbell, respecting Dan Campbell and what he's doing and how he's built up Detroit. Huge Travis Hunter fan. Wish him nothing but the best in all success and happiness in his relationships. Um, so on and forth. How I get on some points. So NFL is NFL. We've discussed. Okay, gone across the board. Not even a time. Okay, I do remember. We got on the college football playoffs and first weekend. Can't be yawning on the podcast. That's ridiculous. That's like there's a rule against that. There's got to be some sorts of rules, even though but still, you got to stop this foolishness. Not a spring chicken, but you know what I mean. Hey, it is what it is. So the college football, yeah, the first weekend we talked, home field, home field, home field, and home field, and we'll see in the second round how some of these, teams that have been waiting, the Georgias and the Oregons of the world, versus teams that have been battling. Will we see some premier or major upsets? I'm going with chalk. And that does not include, and I'm sorry to say this, that includes chalk for Oregon and chalk for Georgia. The other top 4 teams, good luck to you. Good luck to you. The other, that's not good. I should have this memorized. I should have the other teams. Okay, so we got Ohio State and Oregon, battle, rematch. Arizona State and Texas. I'm pulling for you, ASU, on a family connection. You're with the big boys now. Boise and the Nittany Lions. Again, Boise. And then ND and Georgia. Notre Dame has gotten embarrassed many a year on a national stage against the SEC teams. So I'm hoping that they can hold it down a little bit better as we come down the home stretch. As we move down the home stretch, I see the socials are good. We're good across the board. And we're continuing to move and groove and make it do what it do. All right, folks. So, college football, it's a beautiful thing. All right, in terms of the NBA. All right, we done talked NFL. Talked a little bit about the Cleveland Cavaliers. In the East, I'm surprised at Milwaukee. In the East, Cleveland, Boston, New York, Orlando. We knew that. And Orlando is for real. Orlando is, you know what I mean? They're right there. Not Boston or Cleveland. My New York Knicks need to make strides to get back in that conversation. They're not a Cleveland or a Boston, Orlando, but good talent. They're talented. The Orlando Magic remind me a lot of what Houston is becoming in the West, frankly. How does the Magic remind me of? Drafted well, have those draft picks. Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Paolo, who's been out, and right? The Wagner brothers. They're young. And they drafted well, and they're getting these guys to buy into Orlando and team. And there's incredible, like they play to get, Orlando Magic almost play like a college teams. There's so much role acceptance and role, you know what I mean? Just unselfishness. I'm sorry, there is. Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony's not a backup and Jalen Suggs is not a backup, but they split time. And, they do it with enthusiasm. Like you see their bench, they're not, and that's why they're successful. And they're doing their thing. And it's the same thing in Houston in terms of the culture that Emma has established. And they just have a number of top draft picks. Jalen Green, Smith Jr., right? These are top 5 picks. and some young guys, Sagoon, bringing Van Fleet, veteran presence. MA, is getting the most out of, their youthful talent. And the same thing, and it's not always easy to do. It's not always easy to do. Could anybody get through to AI when Jerry Stackhouse was his running mate, or when Larry Hughes was his running? No. It had to all be AI all the time. And AI changed the culture and was a hero of mine when I was coming up. And you can be yourself and still be right. And AI at Georgetown, forget about it. But there could have been success with him and Stackhouse and with him and Larry Hughes. But it had to be AI against the world. That's what it had to be. And it wasn't necessarily the best situation. All right. Houston and Orlando, they buy into team. Surprised at Milwaukee. Got to tip my hat to Doc. Was slandering Milwaukee and Doc. So for them to be the 5 seed, win the NBA Cup, and somehow find a way not to be at each other's throats. All right, the Heat are going to be the Heat. They're always going to be in the conversation. They don't necessarily worry about being a top seed because they're more than happy to go on the road and knock teams out. They've been doing it for many years. Took away a finals window from, Celtics should have been in 3 straight finals. The Heat said no. Won 3 straight, lost 3 straight, and then destroyed the Celtics at home. Craziness. Like Atlanta, again, Quinn Snyder, Indiana, Rick Carlisle, Billy Donovan is, the Bulls, I don't know what to say. Billy Donovan's a good coach. Arturas Karnisovas is a good executive. They have talent. I hope they get rid of Levine. But they're just always, right? The Bulls should be ahead of, a team like a Milwaukee. But hey, and the Pistons marked improvement with Bickerstaff over last year with Monty Williams, who did not want to be there. And then the bottom feeders are the bottom feeders. I try to tell you about, the 76ers, Trowell. The Raptors are tanking for Cooper. The Wizards are just tanking because of the Wizards. All right. Raptors trying to get in the Cooper flag sweepstakes. Good for them. There's got to be a limit on how many years you can just be awful in a row consecutively. Raptors aren't in that conversation. Wizards are there. The Jazz are unnecessarily there. They've been piss poor, despicable is too much. They've been bad. And it's like Danny Ainge, you stockpile these picks, you make all these moves. For what? Got rid of a good coach in Quinn Snyder. Will Hardy knows his business. Why are they just awful? So that's got to stop. And so, yeah, folks, to conclude, Sand City Sports, making the sports connections. We talked a little bit, Brothers, City of Brotherly Love, The Rock, right? Written by Sylvester Stallone. Got a chance to see podcasts with Edie Falco, right? My Sopranos people out there, you know who Edie Falco is, Carmela Soprano. And I've seen different spots, incredibly interesting. Speaking of the podcast revolution that we're in right now, shout out to my man, my New York Knicks, not just New York Knicks Fan TV. That was Edie talking. She wasn't supposed to be talking. But we got, you know what I mean? We got a roommates podcast with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, 2 of my New York Knicks. It's cracking right now, man, folks. The late night is cracking right now. Sand City Sports is with you. Nightcap is with you. Knicks Fan TV is with you. It's cracking right now. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful. I don't play a hate. We congratulate. It's a beautiful thing right now. In terms of just what's going on and people are just pursuing and making it do what it do. So yeah, the connection with that, Edie, The Sopranos, and just connecting the culture and sports is, she tells a story that she did not expect to get The Sopranos. Just going and The Sopranos, David. But that's all. I'm not going to get into how the show became the juggernaut and the cultural phenomenon that it was and is. But Edie talks about like didn't expect to get it and auditioned kind of in a carefree attitude. Ended up getting the role and right, and just gonna go down in history as Carmela Soprano and as an all-time. But the point with that I'm making is, what do they say? Wisdom comes suddenly. Wisdom comes suddenly, right? You don't know, and just keep after it. Head down, mouth shut. And sometimes it might be that coincidence. A lot of times it's just a product of the hard work and the dedication. In terms of when your success journey takes off. When that success journey takes off. And that's something that, again, the connecting point that I have to make as we kind of wrap this show up. You know what I mean? Whenever you are, is what I'm getting at is Edie Falco was talking about how during auditions, she felt, even though she was carefree, and going in, it's always, well, this person's trying auditioning and that person, and you kind of, I hope they don't do good. They, all this type of nonsense that kind of, no, that's not the outlook that you need to have. Ever. Ever. And the connecting point that I'm making in this is that who wrote Good Will Hunting? Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote Good Will Hunting. A movie that stands the test of time. And starred in it, and the rest is history. That's the overarching point, whether it be Edie Falco, whether it be, the Green Bay Packers who are walking the walk, the New York Jets who need to, hear some talk. Okay? You got to write the role. You got to build the platform. You have to dig yourself out sometimes of You got to do that stuff. And the time that we spent worrying about, well, who's auditioning for this or who am I going up for? That's nah. Okay? That's not what The Rock spent his time on. Talking about Sylvester Stallone. Coming back to that. Okay? And we coming back to Sylvester Stallone, not just because he wrote Rocky, right? He wrote that. So everything that we see, Rocky 24, 25, Creed 18, 19, right? Where did it start with? Never mind, see, my undershirt is over my outer shirt. The red doesn't go. Red doesn't go with Carolina blue. That's not right, folks. We got to get this right. You can see on the other side now. Craziness. See, better. Right? Right. You gotta write it yourself. You gotta build that foundation yourself. We gotta, you know what I mean? That's the takeaway. The ultimate takeaway, that I wanted to kind of hit on briefly. Now, again, we talk about the city of brotherly love. We talk about the Eagles, who have to be my team in the NFC. But again, when we talk about the culture, when we talk about The Rock, Marciano, Sylvester Stallone, you know what I mean? That is, I think, the overarching point that I wanted to kind of hit on briefly. Also, Sylvester Stallone, I saw a little clip that he had, which was helpful for me, just talking about the journey. And I'm on my journey. But Sylvester Stallone, he said, you gotta, the first half of your life is all about addition. Second half of your life is all about subtraction. And just breaking down the different phases of life. And that kind of hit me and it spoke to me. And it's not that it's all addition and all, gifting and getting in the early part of your life, and the old second part of your life is all taking away and grief and misery. Um, but that was a point. I don't know if you've seen that little clip with Sylvester Stallone. The first part of your life is all about addition. Second part of your life is all about subtraction. You know, generally speaking, they balance themselves out. But that resonated with me. Just kind of, hey, especially, you kind of, ooh, why does this feel this way or that feel that way, so on and forth. You're in a different phase of the journey. You're in a different phase of the process. All right, folks. So Sand City Sports, you know what I mean? I'm not going to leave you. Couldn't have left you without a dope beat to step two. Step two, step two, stick a step two, chicken, chicken, chicken. Folks, have a good holiday. I'm going to be back with you over this holiday season, no doubt about it. Number of things going on in the world of sports. NFL storming towards the playoffs. College football playoffs going on. We're headed to Christmas Day. Can you believe Christmas Day in the NBA is tomorrow? Christmas Day in the NBA is tomorrow. All right, so we have plenty to get to that we're going to be coming at you with. But first and foremost, always take care of yourself, folks. Trifecta Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving previously, okay? Give yourself the grace, okay? Make the best of this time, good, bad, or indifferent. Do what you can do, all right? And leave it at that. And we will see you again, folks, the next time. Peace.